Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games, and this is This Week in MTG Finance. As always, before we get started, I want to thank MTG Stocks for allowing us to use graphical information for the purposes of this video. Okay, let's start right here with this guy, Oko Thief of Crowns. I mean, I've said everything in previous videos that needs to be said about Oko. Later today, November 18th, Wizards is doing a formal banned and restricted announcement, and I give this card a whopping 99% chance that it is going to be banned. The reason for that is because, I mean, like, look at the last Mythic Championship, right? I mean, 70% of the decks that took the field on day one were Oko decks. And that's both surprising in the fact that that could actually happen, and unacceptable. So, I mean, Wizards' hand's been forced. They have to make a move. If they don't ban this card, they're just going to start losing Magic players because people either don't want to play against Oko or they are sick of playing the Oko deck, and really there's no other deck that should be played in Standard right now. This is the number one deck. This is the deck to beat, and nobody's been able to solve this card in Standard. So Wizard really does have to make a move. So what does this mean for us financially? Well, I think all of the downside pressure on Oko has already been sort of felt and worked into the price. As we can see over the last month, the graph has been slowly going down. A ban tomorrow, I really don't think will affect his price all that much. I mean, it might dip another $1 or $2 or even $5, but still, my position with Oko, same as last week, was hold. I mean, it's played in every other format, and not even just played, I mean, like, heavily played in every other format. People are splashing blue pretty much in their decks in Pioneer in my store just so they can jam Oko in there. So that says something about the power level of this card. And just one more piece of advice about Oko. If you're an arena player and you're catching this video before the ban and restricted announcement, now would be a great time to use any mythic rare wildcards that you have left over. If you don't have your full Oko Thief of Crowns playset, use up your mythic rare wildcards to finish filling out your playset of Oko. And the reason for that is because after the ban, they're just going to go ahead and give you back any mythic rare wildcard equal to the number of Okos that you have. So, it's just good to have your playset hiding there, even though you won't be able to play it in Standard, because Wizards has said that they are working other formats into Arena. The goal eventually is to have Pioneer. I would love to see that sooner rather than later. I think Historic is a terrible idea. And, they're releasing 10 more cards into Historic over the next couple of weeks. So, but I mean, I think they should just completely, entirely drop that idea. Get Pioneer worked into Magic Arena. It would bring a whole bunch of new players and a whole bunch of new money and a whole bunch of new interest back into Arena. But like I said, that's another video. Back to Oko. Make sure you have your copies on Arena before they get banned, because you'll get your Mythic wildcards back, and then you'll have your copies later down the road for other formats like Pioneer when it eventually does make its way into Arena. Alright, let's put Oko aside for a minute and run through some of the big winners this week. And again, this is mostly due to the Pioneer format. Is It Charm has seen a massive spike this week, up from the 50-cent range to nearly $3.50. And this is mostly due to the fact that it's played as a playset in Is It Phoenix, which is widely considered to be the second best deck currently in Pioneer. I mean, they've just been beating the living snot out of green with the Nerf bat. Instead of just hitting Nissa like they should have from the beginning, they're dancing around as they usually do and hit other cards that, we're going to need down the road, like Veil of Summer. Not saying Veil of Summer isn't a busted card, but I mean, come on, green does need some answers. Anyway, Is It Phoenix is likely going to be the deck to beat once they're done beating the snot out of green and making it unplayable. So it's no surprise to me that this card is just skyrocketing. Alright, and another big winner this week is Rekindling Phoenix from Rivals of Ixalan. To be honest, this is another one that doesn't really surprise me. I mean, we're up from the $2 and change range to getting close to $10. Still ways off from where it was at the height of Standard, $34 and that. And I'm not saying we're ever going to see those numbers again, but this is just a good value card, and it's starting to be realized in Pioneer. And even at these prices, I think it's still reasonable to either pick up a playset or fill out your playset. I mean, this is a card that probably has some legs and life in Pioneer. It's just good. It blocks fatties all day long. You pretty much have to 2-for-1 it if you want to get rid of it, because there's just not a whole lot of graveyard hate right now in Pioneer, especially game one. I mean, they're just not going to be able to get rid of this thing profitably. So it's a great sort of mid-range play in red for sure. And like I said, at these prices, it's worth filling out your playset. Alright, and the last one I have for you today under the Crazy Spikes category is Vivian Arcbow Ranger from Core Set 2020. We've seen a lot of upside over the last couple of weeks, and this is mostly due because it's starting to pick up some steam in Pioneer. I mean, it's heavily played in Standard as well. And, you know, the likelihood this card will always have some value, at least while it's in Standard. We're already coming down off of $22 highs. I mean, today we're in the $18.50 range. And my opinion on this card is actually sell if you have extra copies. And the reason for that is because they're just going to keep hitting green with the Nerf bat in Pioneer until it becomes not the deck to play anymore. So selling these in the $18 to $20 range will net you a tidy profit, especially if you picked them up back here in the $3-4 range. Alright, before we get into cards I'm investing in this week, I just wanted to say, if you're a subscriber, I want to thank you for being here. We really appreciate your support, and if not, now's a great time to consider hitting that subscribe button. We post at least 2 videos every week. At the top of the list of cards I'm picking up as many quantities as I can get my hands on are some of the uncommon planeswalkers from War of the Spark, starting with Narset Parter of Veils. This card is in a perfect place to be picking up copies of. She's coming down off a high of $4.25, currently valued around the $2.75 mark. She's played in virtually every format, and as time goes on and we get further and further away from new copies being opened from War of the Spark, her value is only going to increase. And another one I'd like you to consider picking up copies of for investment purposes is Ashiok Dream Render, also from War of the Spark. As we can see, Ashiok is coming up off of a bottom of around $1, currently valued around the $1.50 mark, but this is a promising looking graph. I mean, this is natural, healthy growth. I mean, people have realized how good Ashiok is, especially as sideboard tech in virtually every format, and including Pioneer. I mean, this is great sideboard tech in Pioneer. There's not a whole lot of black graveyard hate in Pioneer. I mean, we have the Leyline of the Void, but Ashiok is just good quality black sideboard hate in Pioneer. And it plays well in every format. I mean, you can see it's showing up in Modern, Standard, Legacy even, and you know, heavily played in Commander. So this is a card that's going to have natural long-term demand. This graph is going to continue to go up, especially as we get further away from more and more copies being opened from War of the Spark. I mean, that's pretty much done. So now is a great time and a great price to be picking up copies of Ashiok. The next one I want you to consider for investment purposes is Chord of Calling, with the most recent printing in Magic 2015. This card's been falling out of favor slowly over the course of the last couple of years or so, mostly because combo's not that prevalent in Modern right now. But the great thing about this card, and especially at these prices around the $8.50 mark, is that this card's always going to have homes in lots of formats. I mean, it's played in Commander, it is played in Modern, it will be played in Modern again. I mean, there's going to be decks that crop up that will use Chord of Calling, but more importantly, it has a big home and a big showing yet to be found in Pioneer. Look, Pioneer deck tech is still in its infancy, but somebody is going to crack this card, and when they do, this card is going to be seeing fresh new all-time highs, so get in now while you can around the $8.50 mark. And lastly, we have our speculation play for the week. That's right, and it's Herald of the Pantheon from Magic Origins. This card here is an awesome pickup at just 50 cents, and for many of the same reasons that we were talking about Starfield Mystic last week. The next set that's coming is Theros Beyond Death. We're going to be getting a whole bunch of new enchantments. We're going to be getting a whole bunch of new enchantment creatures. There's a very good possibility that there will be a Pioneer deck coming out of Herald of the Pantheon, Starfield Mystic, some of the existing enchantments we already have, plus some of the new stuff we're going to be seeing from Theros Beyond Death. So get your playset now at 50 cents while you still can. Alright, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode of This Week in MTG Finance. You can find a link for TCG Player in the description below, where you can find all the cards we mentioned in this video, and using that link will greatly help support this channel. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.